So thanks to Tim at Merino Brewing for helping us to show you how to set up the Hoptimser. As you can see, he's putting on a T-piece and sight glass onto the drain arm of the fermenter and also doing the same onto the racking arm. There's also a butterfly valve on each of the T-pieces. A short hose between the racking arm and the outlet of the pump at the back of the unit there. And we're also going to put a short hose from the drain arm to the inlet of the pump. This is going to be the basis of you forming a loop of beer driven by the pump that you're going to put your hops into. So two more hoses required. We've got one hose which goes to the T-piece on the racking arm, and also probably a longer hose going to the T-piece on your drain arm. I'm going to hold the shot there and you can see how this is set up. And just for clarity, the long hose going out behind the unit there is attached to the HLT pump for filling hot water for sanitization. So we're going to show you how to hot water sanitize the unit. We don't recommend using sanitizers like peracetic, as you're going to put an awful lot of DO into the system if you do that. And a lot of what we're going to show you with setting up this unit is how to get oxygen out of your system. To fill with hot water, attach your drain arm T-piece to your hot liquor pump and pretty much open every other valve on your Hoptimser, especially the butterfly valve at the top near the spunding valve. And using your pump, just fill the whole system with hot water until you get it coming out of the top, as you can see there. So when your whole system is full of hot water, you can close your drain valves and then take the two ends of your drain hoses and attach them together. That way you're creating a loop. You can then use the pump to circulate hot water through your whole system, making sure it's touching everything, getting it nice and sanitized. Once you have your loop formed, make sure all of your butterfly valves are open, turn your pump on, and you want the system to be up to about 80 degrees. Once you've finished circulating the hot water, you can close the valves on your drain hoses and then break open that loop and put each end of the drain hoses into your drain. And that's going to allow you to use CO2 to push out the water in your Hoptimser, thereby making sure you're getting rid of as much of the oxygen as you can. So to purge the system, you can see Tim there opening the CO2 inlet at the bottom of the tank and closing up the tank as well. We're going to build up some pressure in there, probably up to a bar. And once you've built up that 1 bar of pressure, you can open up your system and open up your drain valves and push all that water out, thereby just replacing the water with CO2. Really important to do this well. We can get to the point where there's almost zero pickup coming from the Hoptimser into your beer. You can see the pressure dropping. Close that off, build your pressure up again, and then do your drain arm. Once you've dumped all of the water out of the system, you can then build up pressure and set your spunding valve to just over 1 bar there, and keep building up the pressure and releasing it. Do it 2 or 3 times until you've got rid of all of the oxygen from your system. If you have a DO meter, now is a good time to test, and as you can see, with 2 or 3 purge and release, you can get your oxygen pretty much to 0. So now you've got all of the water and hopefully the oxygen out of your system, you can now purge the system with beer. You do this by opening up your drain arm into your system and then out again through the racking arm T-piece, and you can run probably 10 or 15 litres of beer through the whole beer loop, thereby getting rid of every last vestige of oxygen. You're also in effect here yeasting off your tank and dumping the yeast, so you're not getting a lot of beer loss. The most important thing to remember here is you're not letting any beer into the hop tank. The hop tank should remain dry at all times, and we'll show you a picture of that later on. Once you've got that full of beer and purged, then you can start your pump and just get that loop running. Okay, so your beer loop is now running. You can add the hops to your hop tank, close it up, and of course you've added oxygen here, so pressurize your hop tank a couple more times and release the pressure, thereby doing another couple of purges, and you're going to get rid of any oxygen you just introduced to the system. Getting your pressures right is a crucial part of allowing the Hoptimiser to work well. The idea is to have the same pressure in your hop tank as you have in your beer tank and maintain them. So get your pressure up to a bar on your Hoptimiser and overrun that pressure just a little bit, so you might have a trickle of CO2 coming out through your spunding valve. Set your bright tank to be exactly the same, ideally with a spunding valve, as you can see there. Again, a crucial part of making this work is to not put too many hops in at a time. The idea is to feather your butterfly valve, as you can see Tim doing there. And if you look into the hop tank, you can see just a small amount of hops going in each time. Every time you see a change there, it's another go. And here we show Tim again putting that feathering effect into place. You'll hear a crunching noise as your pump pulverizes those hops into the beer stream, and you can see there's a relatively small amount of hops being done every time you feather that butterfly valve. You'll also see that at no time does any beer go into the hop tank. It's dry at all times. Cleaning up is pretty easy. Just push the remaining beer from your beer lines back into the tank with some CO2, and then flush the system with hot water to drain. And then just fill up your whole system like you did with the hot water sanitizer. Add some caustic and then run the whole system for 5 to 10 minutes, making sure that you get that caustic into every single line. It shouldn't be too hard.